And so it was like a little pink Barbie camera sitting there, and I told my grandmother I want this, and she bought it for me, and I legit made my mother buy me film. They used to spend money on my film rather than just take it, go outside and take pictures of the front yard flowers. I still got a picture at the house. I was under 10.
You are now listening to the Conscious Creative Corner, the intersection of unapologetic lifestyle and creativity. Get ready to be inspired and dive into uncensored truths with tackling business and mental space with other transparent influencers and entrepreneurs. Let our conscious conversation normalize the chaos you may call life. Let's get consciously creative. Today in the Creative Corner, I have the honor of interviewing Danae, who is not only a producer, but writer and director and photographer and beat maker. She's just an all-round creative. I'm so excited to interview her today because she's one of the most pivotal people in my life. Danae explains how just one pink camera has changed her life. And in that time, she has since then mastered her craft with her degree in fine arts and photography. Following the years, she's also submerged herself into hosting annual art shows with her business partner and directing films. She's gone on to own various brands and continues to pursue her creativity in every way. Listen as she explains how to not give up on your dreams or visions. Let's welcome Danae. Welcome to the corner, Danae. Thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure having you because you're such an inspiration in my life. So just to let the listeners know who you are, can you give us a little spiel about yourself?
Hey, I'm Danae. Thank you for having me here. I am a creator at heart, and I create. I'm an artist. I, dabble in a lot of different forms of art, and so some of which are photography, painting, beat creation, all sorts of things, so I don't really limit myself to just one thing. I'm a creator.
And that's exactly why I wanted to have you here, because Danae is one of those people who put every single gift she has to work. So just to kind of break the ice, it's going to be a silly question, but what's your favorite go-to restaurant?
Well. I like. Oh my God! Why can't I remember the name of this restaurant right now? Anyways, they have this buffalo mac and cheese up there by the movie theaters. What's it called?
Buffalo mac and cheese.
And you said that
Joey Garlics.
Joey Garlics.
Yep.
Love me some Joey Garlics.
Okay, so for those of you guys who are not from the area, Joey Garlics is a Italian-esque restaurant. They sell pizzas and stuff, but it's supposed to be like authentic Italian restaurant. So not like a Papa John's, or I don't know if D'Angelo's is a restaurant, but nothing like that. It's supposed to be something really authentic. So I only ask because I'm a foodie. If you guys know me, I love eating. And when you're eating, I think it's a art form in a sense, or just the person that creates the food, but just wanted to break the ice with that. So you mentioned doing a lot of different things like photography, art, music. Can you tell us how you kind of broke into all of these avenues?
Okay, well, I always like to go back to middle school. Not physically, but I remember middle school is one of the places where I really started getting into creating different things. I remember there was this guy in my class. He used to always draw Scooby-Doo, and I'm like, oh my God, I really want to learn how to draw that, and so I asked my mother for a sketchbook, and she basically went out, got me some sketchbooks and some pencils, and I started drawing there. Ever since then, I just kind of been exploring different art forms. When I got to high school, my art teacher, I took all the art classes that they had there. My art teacher really helped to bring out that creator in me, also took some courses in guitar and stuff like that. So I've always been one to really want to explore, and not just explore, but be able to create something from those moments.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, right? So it all started from Scooby-Doo, sort of, right? Your family actually sounds like your mom supported your your journey in a sense, right? Because she got you that sketchbook, and from that sketchbook, you started creating some designs, and then you moved on to other things that really helped to expound on your creativity. And
Right.
what I love about you is that because you do so many different things, you never stop at just one thing and you keep on going. Versus other people who say, you know what, maybe I want to do photography, but I don't want to do photography anymore. I want to do this. For you, you do photography and you play music and you make beats and you do film. So kind of segueing into one of the next things is a couple summers ago, you produced something, and I kind of want you to talk about that and tell them what you did.
Okay, so Felicia, you were a part of this project with me, and this film was basically a short film entitled "Colors of Love." The film really explored different topics like love and forgiveness or whatever. So, like for me, that was a moment of being able to not, yes, create something, but for me, like art is also about exploring your thoughts, exploring the different things that you've gone through. So this film was basically an opportunity then to explore my thoughts, but also create something that hopefully other people can glean from and begin to think to themselves too, what is love? What is forgiveness?
Right. And I loved it. So, yes, I did help you with the project. I have a very vague memory of how this went, but what I do remember is that being on set with you, I did get to see kind of your thoughts unfold as we were filming and as we were kind of directing people and just doing all those various takes and seeing everything come together. I could see where your vision coming from or where your vision was going as it pertained to love. With that being said, I can only imagine that people who watch this film or watch the short might have asked, like, where did this come from? Like, what inspired you to do a film on love? Can you kind of tell us where the inspiration came from?
Okay, so for me, when I created this short film, I was in film school. But prior to that, like, I had never really thought about, being a filmmaker. But personally, I believe in God. And, I remember there was a time that I was working on a photography project, and like in the midst of that, like I just heard when the Lord said to me, or in my spirit, I felt when God was saying to me, "Oh, I'm supposed to be directing," and I was kind of let it rock, But like a little bit after that, I remember having a series of dreams where, like in the first dream, God was really talking to me about love and forgiveness, and He had given me like a whole little movie idea in my dream, and I woke up and I wrote it down. And virtually those were the topics: love and forgiveness, and, along with friendship and all of these other things that come in the midst of love, what I'm saying, and forgiveness. Because when you're in a relationship, friendship, whatever it may be, those are things that are often themes that come up in, your relationship. So, as you asked about, where did the inspiration for this short film come from? It came from, night visions, dreams that I had at night, and basically those dreams helped me to explore, I guess, what I had already been thinking about too, or was present in my heart and my life, and so I decided to continue that exploration and create this short film that dealt with those topics.
I like that. You said a trigger word, vision. And I know in a lot of your work, people might not know, but in a lot of your work, you use the word vision. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you use that play on words with your brands?
Like, I can talk about two brands right now. Visions by Designs, which is like my photography / videography business. We take like portraits and stuff like that. But Visions by Designs, it is basically taking your vision and bringing it to life. And we also do have another branch, Visions by Designs Entertainment, which is basically taking like your stories, your visions, my stories or my visions, and creating short films, or hopefully one day a feature film.
And can you tell people what the difference between a short film and a feature film is?
Okay, so for short films, that's like anywhere beneath 20 minutes. That's between 10 and 20 minutes. A feature-length film is like 60 to 90 minutes.
Okay, awesome. Just for those of us who aren't really sure on the terminology. So After kind of looking at everything you've done, what do you think is like a really big misunderstanding that people have about you and your work?
I'm not really sure what people think. I know that you and I have had this conversation before of, jack of all trades, master of none type of thing. And we've had this conversation where I feel like there is a common misconception out there that people think that you can't do more than one thing or, but for me, I can't really look at it like that because as a human being, I feel like, as in myself, I feel like it's in my nature to explore. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it would be almost limiting to just really focus on one thing when I know that my heart may be calling me to say, hey, that seems interesting. Why not explore down there? Or that seems interesting. Why not explore that? You know what I'm saying? So like as a creative, I feel like people think you have to fit in one specific category or box, but really and truly as a creative, I feel like you should be taking all of the things that you can do, all of the things that all of the different areas that you explore, and how can you bring that together to really create something meaningful for yourself?
Right. And it's funny, I always say like people don't understand when you're doing so many different things, it really comes back full circle. So like for you, when you have she didn't mention this, guys, but she has a t-shirt line or apparel line, I should say. But when you have that, and then you have your photography, and you have your films, and you have your music, they all kind of correspond with each other, and it makes up your brand. It makes up, even if you have different subsidiaries of your brand, it still makes up who you are, and it does come full circle. So you don't have to listen to the naysayers. I say all the time, like you can listen to your heart and your creative flow and just keep on going. What kind of advice would you give someone that wants to do all these things but have no idea how to start? They want to do the photography. They just want to be a creative at heart, but they don't know how. What kind of advice would you give them?
Well, my advice is to really just start. Sometimes it feels almost daunting trying to find a place to start versus just really starting. Maybe today you pick up a camera and say, hey, I want to be a photographer. And maybe tomorrow you say, hey, I want to learn how to draw, and you decide to draw. Like one of the things for me, we had this conversation before where I say I have like seasons of doing different things. So there are seasons where I'm just making beats. Oh my God, I'm into beat making. There's seasons when I'm like, oh my God, I really want to design for my brand. There's seasons when I'm like, oh, I want to play my guitar. I want to paint. And I virtually just move with my own flow. So like if today you feel like being a photographer, what's stopping you? Pick up your camera. You pick up your phone. Go take a picture. So for me, my advice would be to just start.
Right. Like, what do you think is a common reason for people to be giving up?
What's a common reason for people to give up? Not as in like why they decide not to be great.
Yes, exactly.
So, people, number one, I feel like people are one of the biggest factors. And I will say self, because you can choose to listen to the naysayers. You can choose to follow the beat of society. Or you can just be great. We all have the freedom to really do what we want to do. So like, if you want to do something, get up and do it.
I love it. Okay. So we've come to this section of our episode that I like to call the drawing board. And the drawing board is just a series of rapid fire questions that completely sum up who you are outside of being a creative. Because again, I want to show people that creatives are multifaceted and they're transparent. Some people like to call this a lightning round, but I call it the drawing board. Netflix or on demand?
Oh, on demand.
Gross.
Well, both, but really on demand.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Day or night?
Night.
Okay. Instagram or Facebook?
Instagram.
Comedies or action?
Action.
Nikon or Canon?
Nikon.
The Conscious Creative Corner podcast or the Conscious Creative Corner podcast?
The Conscious Creative Corner podcast.
All right. Thank you so much, Danae, for being here. Hope to hear from you again. And if they want to check you out, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at RileyJ185.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey creatives, thanks for listening to the Conscious Creative Corner. If you like the show, be sure to rate, subscribe, and review on Apple Podcasts. It helps other creatives find ways to listen to our uncensored truths. Be sure to check me out on Instagram to let me know how you enjoyed the show. You can find me at Nearly Sia or Achieve Her Perfection. And if you are a struggling creative that's trying to find their creative niche, don't forget that you can sign up for my creative content business tips in the show notes, or you can visit achieveherperfection.com. I'll talk to you guys soon.